Back here on First Things First, time for some stories to start your morning. Rob Gronkowski is now expected to return to the Patriots in 2018. There had been reports of the tight end considering retirement, but with the weakened wrestling field, he felt it better to stick with football. Guys, how big a deal is this for Tom Brady and the Pats to have this guy back with them?
They got their best player back, and it would have been...
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tom Brady got his best player back. Thank you. It would have been a loss that I don't think they were prepared for. Keep in mind, this year, I mean, this is a team that signed Martellus Bennett. It's not like they've got, okay, you know, we're ready for Gronk to retire, and we've got this guy coming up. First of all, you can't replace the best tight end in the league. Second of all, they need skill position guys. This is a team that during the year added a wide receiver late. Like, they need guys for Brady to throw the ball to. I know he's been successful no matter who he's throwing the ball to, but his best years are when he's had these dynamic weapons. 2007, 2011 are the years he has had these off-the-charts numbers where he's had a surplus of weapons. Now, next year, you could have Gronk and Edelman.
Yeah, this could be huge for them. I mean, obviously, as you said, one of their best players. To get him back, we know that I think they're going to come out next year because they didn't win the Super Bowl this year, just like they came out after Deflategate. And they're going to be trying to prove something to everybody. Now that you have your big guns and you said Edelman will be back, it's going to be a great season, I believe, for Tom Brady and the Patriots. Love this for them.
Keep an eye on this Patriots team. I feel like they could do something next year. To the NFL draft, don't count Andy Reid among those suggesting 2016 Heisman winner Lamar Jackson make the move to wide receiver. When asked about Lamar Jackson playing quarterback in the NFL, Reid said, quote, "He's pretty good. I'd give that a whirl." Nick, what do you think? Should Jackson stick it out as a quarterback or maybe make the switch?
No, listen, if after a few years in an NFL system, on an NFL roster, NFL practices, he can't play quarterback.
Someone's got to want him.
Sure. Well, somebody will want him. Listen, I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick. Someone's going to want Lamar Jackson.
I'll try him.
And he's been such a special and dynamic college player. Count me as someone that believes in the right system, he could thrive in this league. Not survive, but thrive. So I applaud Andy Reid for this. Now, I don't think the Chiefs are going to take him because Pat Mahomes is their quarterback. I don't want the Chiefs taking him, even though that's my team, because I want him to have a real chance to start. And when Pat Mahomes is a guy you traded 2 first-round picks for, that wouldn't be a real competition.
Yeah, look, I think we've overstated how much the NFL doesn't think Lamar Jackson can be a quarterback, okay? That was Bill Polian, a former GM who's not working in the league anymore, making a statement that himself. And then I saw a quote from like an anonymous scout. This is not the entire league. This is not 25 years ago where they didn't want black quarterbacks, and they were virtually saying every black quarterback needs to move to a different position. Lamar Jackson, with most teams, would get a shot at playing quarterback. I have my doubts as to whether he can survive. I mean, whether he can thrive, I think he's got some accuracy issues, but I do think he could thrive for a half a season, maybe a season, maybe a little longer. I have concerns about him staying healthy, running the ball like that in the NFL.
All right, to the NBA now. The Pelicans won their 7th straight game last night. They beat the Spurs 121-116. Anthony Davis led the way at 26 points and 15 boards. He's been having quite a stretch. Chris, is Anthony Davis sort of sneaking into that MVP conversation?
He's in, Nick. I think you had, look, James Harden's the MVP, especially after that move last night.
Yeah.
All right, he's the MVP. But Anthony Davis, I think I'd have to have him second right now. With all due respect to the great LeBron James, the great Kevin Durant, and all these other guys, Anthony Davis is leading his teams to wins. That's what we want from our MVP candidates.
Since Boogie went down and the offense has become totally Anthony Davis-centric, they've gone on this 7-game winning streak. Last night, huge win for them. And a huge loss for the Spurs. The Spurs lose LaMarcus Aldridge to an ankle injury early in the game. Despite that, have a 5-point lead with less than 3 minutes left, and then very un-Spurs like back-to-back turnovers. Pelicans tie it up. They end up winning. They had a 10-point turnaround in the final 3 minutes of that game. And when the Western Conference standings are so congested, 2 losses separating 3rd place from 9th place. Big win for the Pelicans, big loss for the Spurs. I think you're crazy on the MVP because I would have Anthony Davis.
Crazy?
Just insane because I would have him 3rd.
All right, finally, all week we're picking our First Things First NBA midseason awards. Today we're talking best performances. The nominees are LeBron James scoring 57 against the Wizards. Joel Embiid's 46 points, 15 boards, 7 assists, and 7 blocks against the Lakers. Boogie Cousins scoring 44 points, grabbing 23 rebounds, and dishing 10 assists versus the Bulls. And finally, James Harden, forget last night, his 60-point triple-double against the Magic. I feel like I could host the Oscars if I needed it. You guys can go and vote on our Twitter page, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or better yet, vote on all three. Chris Broussard gets your vote for Performance of the Year.
The play from last night is off limit. That's not included.
I mean, I wish it was.
I have to go with Harden. And I said it on the show the next day I was on after that. He did something, a 60-point triple-double, which we've never seen. We don't know if Wilt and any of those guys did it before they began recording.
Before
stuff
you
like
actually kept a box full.
Yeah, right. But as far as we know, Wilt Chamberlain, who rewrote the record books, Oscar Robertson, who did the same thing, they never did this. Anytime you do something that those guys never did, because they were playing in an era where there was the unwritten rule of how many black players you had on the team, so the talent wasn't what it is today, and that's why they put up these cartoonish numbers. They never even did this. James Harden is doing this against the absolute best competition in the world. I have to give him the nod on best performance of the year.
We have seen some absolutely jaw-dropping statistical thresholds reached, not only this year, but last year as well. From Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double to Russ and Harden having a combined 6 50-point triple-doubles, which is more than the entirety of league history prior to the last 2 years from those two guys. LeBron's 57, 11, and 7 was great. Embiid's was another unprecedented line, 46, 15, 7, and 7. And Boogie having a 40, 20, 10 game. It's absurd. None of it's Harden's 60-point triple-double. And part of it is the bias, I suppose, about how great of a year he's having. But from a points created standpoint, it's the best game we've seen. It's better than Kobe's game. It's better than Kobe's 81-point game from a points created standpoint. How many did he create? Kobe, well, he had 81 points and 2 assists. Yeah. So I'm shocked he got the 2. Harden in that game, I think it was 87. I think it was. I think it was
really the Wilt.
Well, there was a 57 and like 17 assist game, I believe. So it's second or third most points created in NBA history. It's the only 60-point triple-double ever. It is neck and neck, if not better than Kobe's 81-point game. It's the performance of the year. It might be the statistical regular season performance of the decade in the NBA. It is jaw-dropping to do what he did. And if people watched that game, man, every point mattered.
Yep.
He had a 4-point play to tie the game and then a step-back jumper to win the game. Those were points 50. I guess what would that be? 55 through 60, so every point mattered.
And it was the reason that, Nick, remember when you grew your beard out really long that weekend? It was because of what Harden did.
Exactly right.
That's exactly what happened. All right, let's go back to the NFL now. Last season, the Broncos quarterback play was bad, like make you miss Team Tebow bad. Like, are we sure Peyton Manning can't come back from retirement bad? Like, I know John Elway is 57, but I think even he can be better than these guys bad. Speaking of the GM of the Broncos, Elway admitted he's still on the hunt for a quarterback.
I think we're going to explore all options in free agency and see where that goes. And obviously, we got the 5th pick in the draft, too, so that'll all play into it. So we'll continue to, to look at all the options out there when it comes to quarterback. Believe me, I'm not done swinging and missing. So, look, misses don't bother me. We just got to figure out a way to get it right.
Nick, the saying goes, it takes one to know one. So as a quarterback, do you trust John Elway to get this right?
No.
Okay, good talk.
I mean,
all right,
listen, since he took over, no team in the league has drafted more quarterbacks than the Broncos. And all of them stink.
How many have they drafted?
5. They've drafted 5 quarterbacks since he took over. Brock Osweiler's terrible. Paxton Lynch can't get on the field. Trevor Siemian is actually good for a 7th-round pick, but not a good NFL quarterback. The only team that's drafted as many as them is the Jets. Since he took over, only the Jets, Jaguars, and Browns have more seasons of horrific quarterback play, meaning a passer rating below 77. And by the way, in that era, they had Peyton Manning. So, like, it's every non-Peyton Manning quarterback year for them has been terrible. It's why, if I'm the Broncos, even though I think Kirk Cousins is going to be overpaid, Kirk Cousins is going to hamstring a team's ability to compete long-term because of his cap figure. If I'm the Broncos, I am strongly considering and wanting and contacting Kirk Cousins because what else are you going to do? You have the 5th pick. We have no reason to believe Elway's going to get this right. None whatsoever.
I do put my faith in John.
Wow.
Because, and you're right, the quarterbacks, they've had some misses, as even he admitted. But in the 7 years he's been running the Broncos, they made the playoffs 5 times, the first 5 years he was there. That followed a stretch of 5 years when they did not make the playoffs. So he came in to wasn't a great situation. It was a team that wasn't in the postseason. And he took them not only to 5 straight playoff appearances, but obviously a Super Bowl championship. They have one of the top defenses in the league. They have some great wide receivers. That's all on John Elway. Now, you mentioned Simeon. I'm with you. I don't kill him for that.
No.
That's a 7th-round pick. Obviously, Osweiler, Paxton Lynch moving up to get him bust. But now I think with you, as you said, you go out and get Kirk Cousins. If you don't, now the reports are they're not going to break the bank for him like some of these other teams.
Definitely not.
They're not going to get him.
But if you come close, maybe he'll go there because you have a chance to win. And if you don't get him, how you like this? Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh. So that's interesting.
I would like him as a second choice.
Or maybe
you could take any of Minnesota's offerings.
Yeah.
You could take Keenum, Bridgewater, or Bradford.
Look, I like Keenum. Could Keenum go there and be better than what they have? Yes. I'd be disappointed if I'm a Broncos fan and I ended up this summer with Case Keenum as my quarterback.
But Teddy Bridgewater's an interesting one. I just don't trust him to draft these guys. And I don't know how much I trust him to evaluate either, because here's the key point. Elway got very lucky. John Elway, after watching Brock Osweiler play, offered Brock Osweiler a bucket of money. Offered him 4 years, nearly $70 million with $30 million guaranteed. The only reason he wasn't stuck with Brock Osweiler was the Houston Texans, without ever meeting with Osweiler, offered him more. Offered him 4 years, $72 million with $38 million guaranteed. It's not like Elway, after seeing Osweiler, was like, nope, we're done with this. Similar, by the way, to what Washington did with a far better player in Kirk Cousins. Elway wanted to keep Brock Osweiler, and we now know how horrible Brock Osweiler is. Elway, as you mentioned, wanted to go get Paxton Lynch. And I know this isn't always fair, but when you drafted Paxton Lynch, Jacoby Brissett, Dak Prescott were there. Okay, well, nobody saw Dak doing this. How about when you drafted
let's see what Dak is.
But how about when you drafted Osweiler? Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Kirk Cousins were there. Like, you have drafted quarterbacks with other quarterbacks available.
You know, the one guy he really did want was Colin Kaepernick, that he did go after hard, but that actually didn't work out. So then I guess the question becomes, do you have more faith in John Elway to evaluate a college quarterback or to pick out a veteran in the league that he's actually watched play?
Well, I think, as Nick pointed out, I mean, obviously to pick a veteran. I mean, Osweiler, he messed that up. But in the draft, he hasn't had success. So I do trust him.
Failed on both.
Yeah, but if I had to pick one, it would be to pick a veteran out of the league. And look, if they don't go relatively hard after Kirk Cousins, because as you said, maybe Elway's thinking too, I want Cousins, but at what price? Do I want him enough to, as you said, it could mess me up going forward in the years to come? I would go for him because I think with this defense, these receivers who are there right now, they would be right in the championship hunt again next season if they get him. But they may be thinking the way you are. Maybe you get a Teddy Bridgewater for less money.
Oh, a lot less money.
He's mature. He's a leader. He showed that he could play when he was healthy.
Too, yeah.
I think he'd be a good second choice.
I also think people need to realize, I think people look at the draft and see Denver's picking 5th. They're like, okay, who's in front of them? Cleveland has 2 picks in front of them. Cleveland's obviously taking a quarterback, one of those picks. But Indy's in front of them. Indy's not taking a quarterback. And the Giants, it looks like they're saying at least they won't. So it's like, oh, in this quarterback-rich draft, Denver's going to have its pick of all the quarterbacks except the one Cleveland takes. I do not believe that's how this will play out. I believe someone, whether it's the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Ravens, Buffalo with either of their first-round picks, will end up trading in front of Denver. Because if Denver doesn't sign a free agent quarterback, everyone knows at 5 they're going quarterback. So one of those teams will jump in front of them. So then all of a sudden, you're sitting there with 2 quarterbacks off the board. And it's just now your ability to have your pick of the guys is lower. I don't think
So
Elway's.
What do you think of signing either Cousins if you can or Bridgewater, and if he's there, taking Barkley in the draft? Because you probably have to let C.J. Anderson go so you can clear the room.
And C.J. Anderson's, it's funny. I actually talked with C.J. at Sloan Conference this weekend. Really sharp guy, but he knows that his guaranteed money's up, so he knows that he is potentially expendable for them. If Barkley falls to 5, if you have your quarterback in place, that's a home run. To me, that would be an absolute home run. I would
for them,
absolutely.
So go get a free agent.
Yeah, go get a free agent quarterback.
Keep in mind, as bad as John Elway's been in drafting quarterbacks, he's been pretty good at putting this defense together.
Oh, great!
He did great
I told
with
you
the
in
defense.
Elway, I trust.
Oh yeah,
I trust.
It's the irony of the fact that he was the quarterback that has us all confused.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Coming up, he makes all of them. I'm kidding. Coming up, our huge changes coming to college football and basketball next on First Things First.